Alex Carter had always lived a simple life. At 32 years old, he was a mechanic in a small town. He didn't mind getting his hands dirty, fixing cars and chatting with customers who came through the shop. He lived in a modest apartment above his workshop and was content with his quiet routine. Alex didn't need much. He had his work, a few close friends, and an old dog named Rufus who was more like family than a pet. One rainy afternoon, Alex's life took an unexpected turn. He had just finished lunch when his phone rang. It was a call from an unfamiliar number. "Mr. Alex Carter?" The voice on the other end was formal, almost too polite. "This is Vincent Carter, attorney for the late Theodore Carter, your uncle." Alex froze. His uncle Theodore had been a mysterious figure. He hadn't seen or heard from him in over 10 years. Theodore was a man who preferred solitude, living on a private estate far from the hustle and bustle of the world. He wasn't close to Alex, and frankly, Alex wasn't sure he even liked him. So why was he being contacted now? "Yes, this is Alex," he said, his voice uncertain. "I'm afraid I have some surprising news. Your uncle has passed away and you are his sole heir." Alex sat back in his chair, the words sinking in slowly. His uncle was dead? That was unexpected. But the news that he was the heir to his fortune was even more shocking. "I'm sorry for your loss, Mr. Carter," Vincent continued. "But the terms of your uncle's will require you to come to his estate immediately. There are matters to discuss and documents to sign. Please make arrangements to visit as soon as possible." Alex couldn't believe what he was hearing. In all his years of knowing his uncle, he had never thought much about inheritance. He had no idea Theodore had money, let alone a fortune. But what could he do? The lawyer was insistent, and Alex knew there was no way around it. He agreed to come the following morning. The next day, Alex made his way to the estate. It was located outside of town, nestled among rolling hills and large, dense trees. The estate was vast, and as he drove through the long gravel driveway, Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. This wasn't just any house. This was a mansion, grand and imposing, with high stone walls, large windows, and perfectly manicured gardens. He'd seen places like this in movies, but never in real life. As he parked his car and stepped out, a sense of unease settled over him. He wasn't sure what to expect, but he knew it wouldn't be easy. The door opened before he even knocked. A woman stood in the doorway, dressed in a sleek black suit, her expression unreadable. "Mr. Carter," she said, stepping aside to allow him in. "We've been expecting you." Alex nodded, though he was still unsure of what was happening. "Thank you," he replied, stepping into the grand hallway. The inside of the mansion was even more impressive. Marble floors, high ceilings, and walls lined with priceless paintings and antiques. Everything screamed wealth, but it also felt cold, like it hadn't been lived in for years. The woman led him down a hallway to a large study where a man in a suit sat behind an elegant desk. He stood as Alex entered. "Mr. Carter, I'm Vincent, your uncle's lawyer," the man said, extending a hand. Alex shook it, though his mind was still racing with questions. What had his uncle been up to all these years? And why had he left everything to him? "Please take a seat," Vincent said, motioning to the chair across from him. "There's a lot to go over." Alex sat down, his curiosity growing by the second. Vincent cleared his throat and opened a large folder on his desk. "Your uncle, Theodore Carter, has left you an inheritance, Mr. Carter." Vincent began, reading from the papers. "The will is quite clear. You are to inherit everything: the estate, the financial assets, the stocks, the businesses, and everything else he owned. But there's more." Alex blinked, trying to process the information. "Wait, I didn't even know he had all of this. Are you sure this is for me?" Vincent nodded. "Yes, Mr. Carter. Your uncle's will is legally binding and you are now the sole heir. However, there is one condition." Alex's heart skipped a beat. "A condition?" He hadn't expected this. "Yes," Vincent continued. "According to the will, you are to take possession of the estate and all of your uncle's assets immediately. But there is one unusual part of the inheritance." Alex leaned forward, eager to know more. "What kind of unusual part?" Vincent glanced down at the papers, his expression serious. "Your uncle left instructions regarding 2 women. They are to be your wives. According to the will, they are to live with you here as part of your inheritance." Alex blinked, his mind reeling. "Wives? What are you talking about?" Vincent looked up, his face calm but firm. "Your uncle's will specifies that these women are of great importance. They are not from this world, Mr. Carter. They come from a far-off planet, and your uncle had promised them to you as part of his legacy." Alex felt a strange mix of disbelief and confusion. His uncle had promised him 2 alien wives. This was a joke, right? It had to be. But Vincent's tone remained steady. These women are waiting for you on the estate. They have already been informed of the terms of your uncle's will. Before Alex could process this new information, the study door opened and 2 women entered the room. They were beautiful, striking, with features unlike anyone Alex had ever seen. Their skin glowed with a soft luminescence and their eyes sparkled with an otherworldly intensity. The taller woman stepped forward, extending her hand. "I am Lyra," she said softly, her voice melodic. "This is Kara," she added, motioning to the shorter woman beside her. Alex stood up slowly, unsure of what to say or do. Hi," he stammered, still trying to make sense of everything. Lyra smiled. "Your uncle's legacy is now yours, Alex Carter. And so are we." Alex didn't know whether to laugh or run. The situation was so surreal he couldn't tell if he was in a dream or a nightmare. But the 2 women seemed serious, their gaze never leaving him. This was real. That evening, Alex sat alone in the large mansion, staring out at the vast grounds. He had inherited everything, wealth beyond his wildest dreams, but the price seemed higher than he had imagined. 2 alien wives? His mind spun with questions, but one thing was certain. His life was never going to be the same. Alex sat in the grand living room of the mansion, trying to make sense of everything that had just happened. Lyra and Kara, the 2 women who had claimed to be his wives, sat across from him. They were beautiful, but that wasn't the problem. No, the problem was much bigger. They said they weren't from Earth, and his late uncle Theodore had arranged everything. Alex couldn't wrap his head around it. Lyra, the taller of the 2, watched him carefully. She seemed calm, almost too calm for the situation. Kara, the shorter woman, sat next to her, her gaze intense but softer, almost reassuring. "Is this some kind of joke?" Alex asked, feeling a sense of disbelief. He had to be dreaming. He'd gone to sleep as a simple mechanic, and now this. Alien wives, what next? An alien invasion? Lyra shook her head. "No joke, Alex. Everything we've told you is the truth." "The truth?" Alex repeated, his voice filled with frustration. "This can't be real. I mean, my uncle, he never told me anything about aliens or whatever you are." Kara spoke up then, her voice gentle but firm. "Your uncle knew our kind, Alex. He was part of something much bigger than you understand. He was a leader, an ambassador between Earth and our planet." Alex stared at them, trying to make sense of the words. "An ambassador," he repeated, feeling the weight of the word. "What do you mean?" "Why me?" Lyra answered. "Your uncle was tasked with maintaining peace between our people and humanity. He was a protector, someone who knew that one day Earth would need to be ready to join the galactic community." Alex's mind was spinning. He'd always known his uncle was a private man, but this was something else. "But why did he leave all this to me? Why not someone else? Why wives?" His voice cracked a little. The questions were too many and the answers too strange. Kara stood up and walked over to the large window looking out at the garden. "Because your uncle believed you had the strength to lead, Alex. He believed that Earth was ready for what is coming next. And we, Lyra and I, are part of that legacy." Alex felt his chest tighten. "You're not making sense," he said, rubbing his temples. "My uncle was a recluse. I never even knew he had any involvement in this intergalactic stuff." He let out a breath. "And now I'm supposed to just accept all this? I can't even wrap my head around it." Lyra walked over to him. "You don't have to understand everything right now, Alex. But there are forces at play much bigger than your family or mine. Your uncle's death wasn't just an accident. There are others out there who want what he left behind. And they won't stop until they get it." "Who? Who are these people?" Alex asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Enemies," Kara said softly. "Enemies of peace. Enemies who will stop at nothing to take control of both Earth and our planet. Your uncle was one of the few people who stood in their way. But now that he's gone, the responsibility falls on you." Alex took a deep breath. This was too much for him to take in. "I'm just a mechanic. I fix cars for a living. I'm not ready for any of this." Lyra's eyes softened as she looked at him. "You don't have to do this alone, Alex. You've already taken the first step by accepting your uncle's inheritance. But now we need you to be more than just a man who fixes cars. We need you to be a leader." Alex looked at both of them. "Leader? I don't know how to lead anyone." Kara smiled softly. "You don't have to know everything. You've already got what it takes. We will help you. We'll teach you. Alex shook his head in disbelief. I didn't ask for any of this, he muttered, looking down at the floor. I just wanted a normal life. Normal is no longer an option, Alex, Lyra said. And you're not alone in this. We're here by your side. We'll show you how to protect yourself, your planet, and our people. Alex stood up abruptly, feeling trapped. He needed to get out of the house, away from the overwhelming pressure. I need some air, he muttered. I can't think straight. Kara didn't stop him. Instead, she nodded. We'll be here when you're ready, she said quietly. Alex walked out of the mansion and into the cool evening air. The sky was filled with stars, and for a moment he felt a sense of calm. But it was short-lived. The enormity of his situation came crashing back. What was he supposed to do? He was just a guy from a small town. And now he was responsible for an entire intergalactic legacy, and with 2 alien wives to boot. He walked around the estate trying to clear his mind, but the questions kept coming. His uncle had left him a legacy he didn't ask for, and now he was tied to an alien race that seemed to expect so much from him. What was he supposed to do with all of this? Just then his phone buzzed. He pulled it out, hoping for some kind of distraction, but the message was from an unknown number. You're not ready for this. Get out while you still can, Alex froze. Who was this? And how did they know what was happening? The message sent a chill down his spine. He quickly turned and walked back toward the mansion, his heart racing. Was he really in danger? Or was this some sick joke? As he approached the house, he could see Lyra and Kara waiting by the door, their expressions unreadable. Who sent that message? Alex asked, holding up his phone. Lyra and Kara exchanged a glance before Lyra spoke. It's from someone who doesn't want you to succeed. Someone who wants to stop you before you even begin. Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. So I'm already being hunted? He asked, his voice tight. You are, Kara confirmed. And this is just the beginning, Alex. We'll have to stay vigilant. They'll come for you, but we'll protect you. Alex looked out into the night, the weight of the situation pressing down on him. He had no idea what he had gotten himself into, but he knew one thing for sure. There was no turning back now. Alex sat at the large wooden desk in his new study, his mind still spinning from everything that had happened. The mansion, his uncle's mysterious will, and the 2 beautiful women, Lyra and Kara, who claimed to be his wives. But nothing had prepared him for what happened next. The reality of the situation had hit him hard, and he was starting to feel the pressure. Just the day before, he was an ordinary mechanic, content with his life. Now he was sitting in a mansion, inheriting an alien legacy and finding himself in the middle of a battle he didn't understand. He ran his hand through his hair, trying to think clearly. Lyra and Kara had promised to teach him everything, to help him understand his new role. But there was so much to learn, and Alex felt lost in the vastness of it all. As much as he wanted to reject everything and go back to his quiet life deep down, he knew that wasn't an option. The warning from the unknown sender about being hunted had only made things worse. Alex was now a target, and there was no escaping that fact. Just then, the door opened and Kara stepped into the room, her expression serious. Alex, it's time. We need to begin your training. Alex looked up at her, his face tired. Training? What kind of training? You need to be ready, Kara said. Our enemies are not just going to sit back and wait for you to figure things out. They will come for you, and when they do, you need to know how to defend yourself. Alex frowned. I'm not a fighter, Kara. I don't know the first thing about whatever it is you want me to do. Kara's expression softened. That's why we're here, Alex. We'll teach you everything you need to know. It's not just about fighting. It's about understanding your role, the responsibility you now carry. Your uncle didn't leave you just wealth. He left you the power to protect Earth and our people. Alex looked down at his hands, feeling the weight of the words. He wasn't sure he was ready for this responsibility, but he knew that if he didn't try, it could cost him everything. What do I need to do? Lyra entered the room, her calm presence a contrast to Alex's confusion. We'll start with something simple. We need to teach you how to focus your mind. The enemies you face are not just physical threats. They can influence your thoughts, your emotions. You need to learn to control your mind, Alex. Alex stood up, pacing the room. This is insane. One day I'm fixing cars, and now I'm supposed to be some mind-controlled warrior? We're not asking you to be a warrior, Lyra said gently. But you need to be prepared. You need to know how to stay focused no matter what happens. Alex took a deep breath. Okay, fine. Teach me, Kara smiled. Good. Let's start with meditation. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Let go of everything around you. Clear your mind. Alex sat down reluctantly, still unsure of the whole thing. But when Lyra and Kara began to meditate beside him, their calmness slowly started to ease his nerves. He followed their lead, breathing in deeply, then exhaling slowly. For a moment his thoughts quieted, and he felt a strange sense of calm settle over him. This is just the beginning, Lyra said softly. Once you've learned how to control your mind, we'll begin teaching you how to harness the energy you've inherited. Alex opened his eyes, looking at her. Energy? What do you mean? Kara stood up. Your uncle wasn't just a leader. He had access to ancient technology that allows him, and now you, to harness and manipulate energy. This is what you'll need to protect yourself, and it's the key to understanding our people's abilities. Alex stood up as well. You mean I can do, what, like you two? Lyra nodded. Yes, but it takes time and patience. It's not just about learning how to control it. It's about understanding the responsibility that comes with it. Alex felt overwhelmed. He had no idea how to handle all of this, but deep down a part of him knew he had no choice. He had to try. Later that evening, the three of them gathered around a large table in the mansion's dining room. Lyra and Kara had been training him for hours, showing him how to focus his mind and harness the energy they had spoken of. It was exhausting, and Alex was beginning to feel the strain. His muscles ached and his head felt foggy. But the more he practiced, the more he started to sense something. It wasn't much, but he could feel a tiny shift in the air around him, like an invisible force that seemed to respond to his thoughts. Good, Kara said, noticing his progress. You're starting to feel it. Feel what? Alex asked, still trying to figure it out. The energy, Lyra explained. It's all around you, and now you're starting to connect with it. But this is only the beginning. Soon you'll be able to use it to defend yourself, to protect the people you care about. Alex looked down at his hands, feeling the pulse of something he couldn't fully understand. I don't know if I'm ready for this. You don't have to be ready, Kara said. You just have to try. We'll guide you every step of the way. That night, as Alex lay in bed, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming. He had been trained for a single day, and already he was beginning to sense the pressure. His life had changed so much so quickly, and he had no idea if he was strong enough to face the challenges ahead. Suddenly, a loud sound broke the silence. A low rumble followed by a bright flash of light outside his window. Alex shot out of bed, his heart pounding in his chest. He rushed to the window, looking out into the night. A spaceship. The sight of it sent a chill down his spine. It was sleek, dark, and massive. The ship hovered just above the ground, casting a shadow over the estate. Alex's heart raced. This wasn't just a test. It was real. The enemies Lyra and Kara had spoken of were here. Alex rushed to the door, ready to face whatever threat lay outside. As he stepped into the hallway, Lyra and Kara were already there waiting for him. We knew they would come, Lyra said quietly. This is the first real test. Are you ready? Alex looked at them, his nerves on edge, but something inside him clicked. He wasn't just a mechanic anymore. He was more than that. He had a responsibility, not just to himself, but to the entire planet. And he wasn't going to let fear stop him. I'm ready, he said, his voice steady. With that, they rushed outside, ready to face the unknown. Alex stepped outside the mansion, his heart pounding as the spaceship hovered silently above them. The sleek, dark craft cast an eerie shadow over the estate, its engines humming softly. He could feel the weight of the moment, the reality of the situation settling in. This wasn't just some test anymore. This was real. They were under attack. Lyra and Kara were already at his side, their eyes scanning the sky, alert and ready. The calmness in their demeanor helped steady Alex's nerves, but the fear of the unknown still gnawed at him. This is it, Kara said, her voice low. They've come earlier than we expected. Lyra nodded, her gaze never leaving the ship. We've been preparing for this. But Alex, there's more to this than just the battle ahead. We need to be strategic, Alex frowned, confused. What do you mean? You'll see, Lyra replied. Right now, our first priority is to protect the estate. But this fight is much bigger than just us. Our enemies are powerful, and they won't stop at just this mansion. They're after what your uncle left behind. Before Alex could ask any more questions, the ship began to lower, slowly descending until it landed just a few hundred feet away. The ground vibrated with the force of its landing. Alex's pulse quickened, but he knew there was no turning back now. "Stay close," Kara instructed, her voice firm. "We have to get to the underground safe room. It's the safest place for now. Once we're there, we can strategize." Alex followed them, trying to keep his breathing steady. The weight of the situation pressed heavily on him, but he couldn't afford to hesitate. This was his new reality. He had inherited not just wealth, but a responsibility to protect this planet and the people he cared about. The three of them moved quickly, taking cover behind the mansion's walls. As they neared the safe room, a loud voice echoed from the ship. "Alex Carter," the voice boomed, deep and menacing. "Come out. We know you're here." "It's time to face your destiny," Alex froze, his heart racing. He had no idea who this voice belonged to, but it sent a shiver down his spine. Lyra turned to him, her expression grim. "They're trying to provoke you," she said quietly. "Don't give in to fear. We'll face them together." Just as the voice came again, Alex made a decision. He couldn't hide anymore. It was time to take control. Stepping out from behind the wall, he stood tall, facing the ship with determination. "I'm here," he shouted. "Who are you? What do you want?" The ship's hatch slowly opened, and out stepped a tall figure cloaked in dark armor. The figure's face was hidden behind a helmet, but the cold, menacing aura around him was unmistakable. He stood with confidence, as if he already knew the outcome of this confrontation. "I am Kale," the figure said, his voice cold. "Leader of the faction that seeks to destroy your world. Your uncle was a fool to think he could stand against us, and now you will pay for his mistakes." Alex felt a surge of anger. This was what they had been preparing for. This was the enemy who would stop at nothing to destroy everything his uncle had worked for. Lyra and Kara stepped forward, standing by Alex's side. "You're not welcome here, Kale," Lyra said, her voice sharp and full of authority. "We won't let you take what's ours." Kale's laugh was low and cruel. "You think you can stop me? You, a mere human and two aliens who are out of their depth? You don't even know what you're up against." "We know enough," Kara replied, her voice unwavering. "And we're not afraid of you." Alex felt the energy around him start to stir. It was faint, but he could feel it. The same energy that he had been practicing with earlier. It was there within him. The connection was growing stronger. "You're wrong, Kale," Alex said, his voice steady. "I may not know everything, but I know one thing. I'm not going to let you destroy Earth." Kale's expression remained hidden, but his posture shifted. It was as if he was testing Alex, waiting to see how he would react. Then, with a swift motion, he raised his hand and a burst of energy shot toward them. Instinctively, Alex raised his hands and the energy within him surged. He wasn't sure how, but he focused, pulling the energy toward him. To his surprise, the blast of energy from Kale stopped midair, frozen by his own energy. Kale's eyes widened and he stepped back, clearly taken aback. "Impressive," he muttered, "but it won't be enough." Alex felt the power surging inside him. It wasn't just about the physical force, it was something deeper, something ancient, something tied to his uncle's legacy. He focused harder, and with a sudden burst, the energy shot back toward Kale, sending him stumbling backward. Kale's armored form hit the ground with a loud thud. The figure slowly stood, his armor crackling with energy. "You're stronger than I thought, Alex Carter," he said, his voice a mix of anger and grudging respect. "But this is far from over." Lyra and Kara stood beside Alex, ready to fight. "It's over when we say it's over, Kale," Lyra said coldly. But Kale wasn't finished. He waved his hand, and the ground beneath them began to shake. Suddenly, Alex felt a surge of energy in the air, an attack that wasn't coming from him. A dozen shadowy figures appeared surrounding them. They were soldiers just as dangerous as Kale. "Fight back!" Kara shouted, and Alex felt the call to action. His energy flared once again, and he could feel Lyra and Kara's strength amplifying his own. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with. Alex raised his hand, summoning a wall of energy that pushed the soldiers back. He could feel the strain on his body, but he knew this was just the beginning. He wasn't just fighting for himself anymore. He was fighting for Earth, for his people, and for the legacy his uncle had left behind. The battle raged on, but Alex wasn't alone. He had Lyra and Kara by his side, and together they fought back against the shadows of Kale's army. The fight was far from over, but Alex had taken the first step. He had found his strength, and he would not back down. The night had become a battlefield. The estate, once peaceful and quiet, was now filled with the sounds of explosions, energy blasts, and the clash of wills. Alex stood at the front lines, his heart racing and his body humming with an energy he still couldn't fully understand. He had felt the fear earlier, the fear of the unknown, the fear of being unprepared. But now, as the battle raged on, something else was pushing him forward: determination. Lyra and Kara fought fiercely by his side, their powers flowing effortlessly as they battled the soldiers of Kale's army. The energy in the air crackled as the three of them stood united, pushing back wave after wave of enemies. But Kyle and his forces weren't just ordinary threats. They were skilled, powerful, and relentless. Alex had never imagined that one day he would be standing in the middle of such a fight. But now, as he felt the power surge within him, he realized something. It wasn't just his uncle's legacy he was protecting. It was Earth's future, and he couldn't let it slip away. Kale's figure was still standing in the distance, watching the chaos unfold. His armor gleamed in the moonlight and his posture remained imposing. He had expected the fight to be over quickly, but Alex had surprised him. Despite the odds, the young mechanic had proven to be a force to be reckoned with. "This ends tonight." "Kale!" Alex shouted across the battlefield, his voice filled with resolve. Kale's dark eyes narrowed. "You think you can stop me, Alex? You're just one man with 2 alien wives. What are you going to do against me and my army?" Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of Kale's words. But he knew one thing for sure. He wasn't going to back down. "I'm not alone, Kale, and I'll never let you take Earth." Lyra and Kara, standing close to him, nodded in agreement. "We stand with you, Alex," Kara said firmly. "Together, we'll finish this." Kale's lips curled into a sneer. "Then let's see what you've got." With a swift motion, he raised his hand, sending a massive shockwave through the air. The ground beneath Alex and his companions cracked open, and debris flew everywhere. The force was enough to knock Alex off his feet, sending him crashing to the ground. The pain was immediate, but it wasn't enough to stop him. He quickly pushed himself up, his fists clenched. "Stay down, Alex," Kyle's voice boomed. "You can't win." But Alex's spirit wasn't broken. He felt the energy within him growing, the power surging through his veins. He could feel it now. His uncle's legacy, the strength of the alien race that had once stood by his family. The energy that connected him to Lyra and Kara, to the legacy of peace, was becoming a part of him. "I'm not giving up," Alex said, his voice steady. Lyra and Kara were back at his side in an instant, ready to fight. They raised their hands together, their combined energy forming a powerful barrier around them. The energy crackled with raw power as they pushed forward, their focus unshakable. "We can do this," Kara said, her eyes locked on the enemy. Alex felt a surge of confidence. "Together, we're stronger." The three of them moved forward, working in perfect harmony. Alex's energy flared, pushing back the blast that Kale had unleashed. Lyra and Kara supported him, their combined powers amplifying his own. The enemies around them faltered as the trio advanced, sending wave after wave of energy blasts toward Kale. Kale's eyes flashed with anger. He hadn't expected the three of them to be so powerful together. But even as they pushed him back, he wasn't ready to give up. With a snarl, he lifted his hand again, but this time, something was different. The ground beneath him cracked open, and massive shadows rose from the earth. "These are my true soldiers," Kale said, his voice dripping with contempt. "You think you can defeat me? I will not be stopped." From the cracks in the earth, towering creatures emerged. They were massive, with glowing red eyes and thick, armored skin. They looked like something from a nightmare, and they charged at Alex, Lyra, and Kara with terrifying speed. Alex's heart raced, but he didn't hesitate. He knew that they couldn't afford to back down now. "We have to take them down," he said, determination in his eyes. Lyra and Kara nodded, their energy flowing freely as they prepared for the final battle. Alex focused, reaching deep within himself to summon the power his uncle had left behind. He could feel the energy building inside him, stronger than before. With a loud shout, he released it all at once. A massive wave of energy shot out from him, engulfing the creatures that charged at them. The blast was powerful enough to send the creatures flying backward, crashing into the ground with a force that shook the entire estate. But Cale wasn't finished yet. He stepped forward, his eyes blazing with fury. "You think you've won?" he spat. "This is just the beginning." With a sudden burst of energy, Cale launched himself at Alex, his powerful form moving like lightning. Alex barely had time to react before Cale was upon him, sending a shockwave of force into his chest. Alex was thrown backward, his body crashing into the ground. Pain shot through his body, but he didn't give up. He pushed himself up, his muscles aching, his mind focused. This wasn't just about strength. This was about something deeper. He had to protect Earth, and he had to stop Cale. He wasn't just fighting for himself anymore. He was fighting for everyone. Lyra and Kara rushed to his side, their energy flowing around him like a shield. "You're not alone, Alex," Lyra said, her voice steady. "We're with you." Alex took a deep breath, feeling the power of their bond. Together, they could do this. With their combined energy, they formed a powerful force, one that rivaled Cale's. The final clash was coming, and Alex knew it was now or never. With a roar, Alex pushed forward, his energy flaring once again. This time, it was different. He wasn't just fighting Cale. He was fighting for everything his uncle had stood for, everything his family had worked to protect. With the combined strength of Lyra and Kara, Alex launched one final blast of energy straight at Cale. The explosion of light and power sent a shockwave through the air, and for a moment everything went quiet. When the dust settled, Cale was lying on the ground, defeated. Alex stood, breathing heavily but triumphant. The battle was over. Lyra and Kara stood beside him, their expressions proud. "You did it, Alex," Kara said, her voice filled with admiration. "You're ready?" Alex looked around at the battlefield, the remnants of the fight still visible in the distance. "We did it," he said, a sense of relief washing over him. "But this is just the beginning, isn't it?" Lyra smiled. "Yes, this is just the beginning of your journey, Alex. You've proven yourself. You've shown us what you're capable of." Alex looked out at the horizon, feeling a sense of purpose he had never felt before. The future was uncertain, but he was no longer afraid. With Lyra and Kara by his side, he knew they could face whatever came next.